your time. But we're just gonna give you a 1 minute each go around to where we live and whatever. Go ahead and start, Andreas.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm actually here in beautiful Miami, Florida. It's 5:30 in the morning right now, around that time. So
Yep.
It's usually pretty
Good
early
morning.
for me. Good morning to you as well. Is that your actual background, or is that
No, this is
okay,
just
okay.
a green screen.
All right, cool.
I really hoped it wasn't.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. She's clearly.
Although it does look very similar outside, so.
I hear that. I hear that. Brazil, right?
Yeah, that's right.
That's cool. And as work, I bartend. I love what I do.
Awesome.
I love mixology, and I do pretty well at it. I'm probably one of the best bartenders in the world. Wouldn't surprise me.
Amazing. Well, are you coming to London?
I would love to. Maybe one of these days. Maybe not this next trip, but for sure. I assure you, one of these trips, all of us, we're going to go together, and I'll be more than happy to bartend the whole event.
Yeah.
As far as my family, I'm still lucky and blessed to have both my parents. They're still alive, great people. My father's Cuban, my mother's German. They're still together to this day, which is great. You don't see that around that much anymore.
No,
at least in the States right now, it's they break down the system. But that's another conspiracy talk for another day. As far as hobbies, it's pretty much gaming, and I love poker. And I like watching documentaries. I like history, things of that nature. It's pretty cool. And just Twitch in general has really changed that. For me personally, I left social media for a long time, and I was lucky enough to get on Twitter one day and find out about Twitch, and I've never looked at Twitter again since.
Amazing. So did you come straight from Twitter to Twitch?
Well, I had taken a long hiatus.
Okay.
Had completely stopped using social media for a long time. And one day I just got on Twitter, and I was actually, I came across Kevin Pham's feed, and I had watched him for a while, and I know, everybody hates me for it. My fam.
He has me blocked, so.
But one thing I do thank him for is, if it wouldn't be for Kevin Pham, I would have never found Twitch. I'm lucky enough, and I jumped on it right away, and Twitch is definitely the future. And
awesome. And so did you already know about Bitcoin before Twitch, or did you find Bitcoin through Twitch?
I knew about Bitcoin Core and a few other altcoin stuff. I wasn't really that much into seeking knowledge about a true coin. I was more into it like, oh, this coin looks like it's gonna make some money, so whatever. Made a couple bucks back then, and then after it went from an all-time high to an all-time, almost low, I just kind of had gotten out of it. And once I found BSV, I've been all in ever since. I haven't bought another coin aside from BSV.
Cool, good stuff.
I definitely feel that stuff. BSV is it. But from that, I think who's next? Who's gonna jump on and let her know a little bit about themselves?
Go ahead, Dookie. What you got, man?
No one wants to know about Dookie.
Oh, come
on, I don't know
man.
about Dookie.
Come on. Legendary Twitch memer. Everybody wants to know about Dookie.
They call me Dookie Love. I'm from here at Chillicothe, Missouri. It's like 0 degrees
looks cold.
right now.
Yeah.
You see my breath.
Unless you're puffing a joint.
That's that you're indoors, huh?
Yeah. I'm out in the garage. I woke the family up at 4 a.m. and I got in
this
trouble.
This is devotion right here.
Yeah. I'm in the garage. I'm a meat manager, meat cutter, so that keeps me busy. Got a family, 3 kids. 2 are stepkids, but I claim them still.
They're yours.
Yeah. Just living the good life here in Chillicothe. Nothing too exciting around here. I just like to stay on Twitch, stay busy. Yeah.
Oh, that definitely does it too.
Epic.
For sure.
Gage.
Awesome.
Okay, so I'm Gage. I live in Southwest Virginia and with Bill up in the mountains. It's not quite as cold as it is in Missouri, but it's still pretty cold out here. I'm a drummer, obviously. I'm an audio producer. I'm getting married to my dream girl in September.
Whoop, whoop.
Wow, congratulations.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Yeah, pretty stoked about that. yeah, I just kind of a geek. I play a lot of Final Fantasy, and I like to mess around with Bitcoin and talk with these cool guys. And I can speak for all of us when we're really excited to have you, for real. Thanks for coming.
I'm excited to be here.
Yeah.
It means the world. It's pretty exciting.
Absolutely.
So now we can get into River. I'll just tell you a little bit about myself, River. I was born in Australia, spent 7 years there, raised in San Francisco Bay Area, and now I live in India. That's about it.
Wait, you were born in Australia?
Yeah, I was born my parents are American. They moved over there. My dad moved over there to teach university, had some kids, and he got sick, so we had to move back to San Francisco area.
Okay.
And when I was 7, so I was pretty much raised in Northern California, and now I'm abiding in India, and happy to have you here. Happy to get to meet you.
How is India? How long have you been in India for?
I've been here 15 years.
Wow.
And
But he goes back and forth.
Yeah, I spend about 8-9 months a year here.
Wow.
Yes, and it is.
What made you move to India?
You know, I met a lady from here about 20 years ago.
Yep.
I was meditating, and I kept going back and seeing her in San Francisco every year.
Yep.
And every year I was just blown away by the unconditional love and the amount she motivated me to really look within and search for something outside of the coming and going of pleasure and pain. In the midst of all that, finding some equanimity.
Wow.
So then my wife loved it over here, and so did I. We live a very simple lifestyle. Like I live in a small room.
Well, you should do it.
Yeah, it's just the simplicity of life means less problems, less to worry about, less to.
It does, yeah.
Less to lose, etc. So that kind of got me. Yeah.
Wow.
Now it's dinner time. I'm so happy we get to ask all the questions we've been preparing. I want to start out.
Ears must have been ringing for like the last week and a half, because I don't think we've ever stopped talking about you.
River. Yeah, I want to start off by I got into BSU right after the split.
Yep.
And I was on Twitter, but I had a different profile pic. I was going by Ohm Station.
Okay, I remember Ohm Station, yeah.
Yeah, that was me. And so I've been watching, and so I feel like I've gotten to know this about you. You know a lot about Bitcoin. You're really open. You're really cool. What is something that nobody in BSV knows about you that you can share with them?
Something that nobody knows about me.
At least in Bitcoin. At least.
Hunter's got some good questions.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have to dig deep.
All right. Well, well, let's just jump right into it then. Well, I've been pretty sick for the past kind of 2 years almost. That's something that nobody knows about me that I hide really well.
Oh wow.
I've just been kind of getting a little bit better now, so I'm doing okay.
Thank God.
Yeah.
You do. Yeah. You would have never given that away ever.
Yeah, no,
You're
I
always
don't
smiling.
That's probably why you're getting better. I mean, happiness and laughing is actually real medicine. It really is.
For sure.
It is. Human
That's really
connection.
awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's big.
For sure.
And you are getting better. That is correct, right?
I'm getting better. I'm still trying to find out what the root cause of it all is, but it's been basically since the birth of my second son. So, you know, autoimmune issues. I don't know if you guys know very much about that, but still trying to find out the root cause of all of it. But, you know, a lot of different therapies are helping out.
With that, so autoimmune, is that kind of like would lupus be considered autoimmune or something like that?
Yeah, lupus is autoimmune. Yeah, and that's definitely one of the possibilities of what it could have been caused by. But basically, you know, from a really difficult birth to in my birth, I had to be induced, so I had a lot of, you know, kind of fake hormones injected into my body, which caused a lot of imbalance. And
yeah, makes sense.
I think I potentially already had an imbalance, a hormonal imbalance prior to that, which was kind of just underwriting, which didn't affect me day to day. And I think potentially that birth offset something in my body that kind of just went all downhill from there, and it made it really hard to take care of 2 children. And I don't have a lot of support here in Brazil either, so I don't have any family.
Yeah.
I my husband works a lot, and so
My jaw is like
I think,
to the floor right now.
And yet you're
Wow,
here.
that is,
Me
you're
too.
such a strong person.
My
That is
God.
huge.
Agree. Completely.
yeah.
I know we'll all definitely be praying for you here every day.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Honestly, the people in Bitcoin have been my bright shining light, because if I didn't have the interactions that I have every day in Bitcoin and in my Discord group and in even Twitter, Twitch, everything like that, if I didn't have that, I think that I would be in a much worse place.
Yeah.
Speaking of your Discord group, again, like I said, your ears must have been ringing because we've been researching you. We've been trying to find out a little bit more about you. Yeah, I knew you were big on Twitch. I didn't know much about you. I know you do technical analysis, all
She's a
that
rock
stuff.
star,
But
dude.
yeah, rock
Yeah,
star. Now,
for sure.
now I do watch some technical analysis videos, but I'm more of like, again, more of like a social.
Yep.
I like documentaries. I like watching technical analysis, but it's not at the top of my list. So we started doing research on you, and it was pretty cool to find out a few things about you that I had no clue about you. Dookie is your biggest fanboy right there. Number one.
What did you
fanboy,
find out
Dookie.
that was interesting?
Lay it on 'em.
I mean, it's very hard because a lot of the interviews that you do, it's more about your technical analysis, and you're talking about Fibonacci, and you're talking Elliott wave, and every now and then you really got to look through one of these interviews to try to catch something small about yourself. Like, so a lot of them start off mostly, it's like, hey, River, tell us a little bit about how you got into crypto, and that's like 5 interviews. So it's the beginning, it's almost very repetitive.
They're all very much similar. Yeah.
Correct. So, know you came from Australia. Know you left to Brazil. You needed money. Got into Bitcoin. Did well. Then it goes into analysis. So we really here wanted to pick your brain, and to have you be so open-minded to everything is just freaking.
Hey River, I forgot to mention one thing.
How?
We support and totally get inspired by all BSV channels, by yours especially. We wanted to start something that was less about Bitcoin analysis and more about the people behind that. And we saw kind of a need for that, or like something.
I admire that too. I think it is definitely needed.
Cool. Well, that's why we're here, and we're gonna bust out some great questions for you. Who's next?
So aside from the cryptocurrency analysis that we're kind of talking about here, give us some of your hobbies. What do you like to do when you're not crunching the numbers?
I really love getting outside, and I recently, probably about 4 months ago, started doing yoga, and I really enjoy that a lot.
Cool.
I love surfing. I don't get out as much as I used to, but I love surfing and anything to do with the ocean, paddleboarding, swimming. You know,
we got the same
like
hobby.
Awesome.
We got the same hobby. Oh my God.
Nice.
Hunter says that surfing in India is amazing.
Yeah, I've seen there's a little Portuguese part of India which has amazing waves there.
In Goa or?
Yes, yeah. I would
She's
love
actually
to
on a
visit there
surfboard
one day.
right now. You can
Yeah.
If you ever come here, River,
so
I've got my own break.
cool.
I've got my own break. I've never
Surfing in Australia, surfing in Brazil.
He's got
Yeah.
some ocean.
Where?
Duke's got some
What do you
oceanfront
pick?
property in Missouri.
Where would you rather surf, in Brazil or in Australia?
We're sledding here.
Well, Australia has a lot of jellyfish and weird animals, so I definitely prefer Brazil. The water is warmer here as well. So
Okay, cool. No,
but if I had to choose, I really love surfing in Bali. So that's a really nice, they have really nice reef breaks there and some really nice spots like Padang Padang, and there are some really, really nice little beaches that are, you know, kind of off the beaten track in Bali. And I loved surfing there.
That is cool as hell.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What do you see for the future of Twitch now that it's at such an infancy? Like where do you see Twitch going? Like how do you see it evolving?
I think it definitely needs some very basic features in the short term. Private messaging and, block features. I think it needs to have some sort of encryption feature so that you can remove content and replace content, but also have kind of evidence trail of that happening if ever something needed to be tracked.
To work within the law, whatever the case.
Yeah, whatever the
Right.
case. But definitely, I think that it needs to have that, encryption capability to be able to remove or edit content, all still immutable, but, to be able to kind of change what you can see in control by the user. Definitely private messaging is a big one. I think that we really, really need a private, whether or not Twitch takes this initiative really seriously. We need some sort of private messaging, like WhatsApp, so that people can communicate internationally and not have that risk of their data being sold or used or them listening into, via the app, which is really concerning. That's really concerning about social media today, is that total lack of privacy.
Mm-hmm.
So, which I think that if Twitch could take that on, I think that would be really, really interesting and evolve into that. But just, I don't know the exact plans of what Twitch are doing right now. For me, my short-term focus would be those definitely needed features. And I'm really excited to see what they come up with, actually.
Now, I know that they said something in regards to maybe integrating Baymail into Twitch.
Yeah, I did see that.
What do you think about that?
I think it would be really cool. I think Baymail's a really great platform as well.
Push notifications to your Twitch from Baymail.
Yeah, I think that's really, really cool. Baymail is great. Have you guys used Baymail?
Yeah. Now, I don't have my push notifications. Gage, you were saying that you could set up the push notifications for that as well.
Yeah, you can set your.
You can via email.
Right.
Via email, yeah. You can do that.
That is cool, because then I'll just get notifications from Proton Mail. Yeah. And I'll know that I got a Baymail or whatever the case.
Exactly.
Because Baymail, I think, is probably the most underrated, underused application that has been put on top of the BSV blockchain.
Speaking of your notifications blowing up, tell us a little bit about what it's like to be number 5 on the Twitch list. You feeling a little famous?
Oh, it's really cool, actually. I honestly, I didn't expect it. And then, Coin Yeezy, Moisty, Ellen Moist, Josh.
Josh.
he posted that.
The name just changed. The name just completely changed. Elon Moisty, that's it. It's done. You heard that, Frog? You heard that?
Yeah.
You're now the Elon Moisty.
He heard that. For sure.
When I didn't realize that you could tell who had the most amount of followers by the.
There's a trick.
I actually had. I know it now. Back at that time, I was number 6, so I've overtaken someone on that. I think it was Kalemos on that list. But it's really cool. It's an honor.
Machete coming for you.
I don't post as much on Twitch as I should, but
you got to step your game up, girl.
I know I do.
You're missing out on BSV.
I do, but you know what? My audience
so much BSV every day. It's not even funny.
But you know what? I make quite a bit of BSV with my stream manager videos, and I do have still quite a large audience on Twitter. So I still need that Twitter engagement.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, all I know is yesterday we posted something from InTheBox. It got 1 like and 1 branch. Luckily, you were the like and you were the branch, because I think it got 8 likes. 8 or 9 likes after you branched it. So thank you.
Right.
My very first Twitch, I posted something about I'm excited to be here and I'll be posting drum videos, yada yada yada. And you were my very first interaction. I'll always remember it, because you branched me and you said, "Hey, that's something along the lines of that was a nice intro," something like that. But I always remember that though.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah.
Jokey,
I always thought that was
cool. With the question.
Well, you are very interactive. You do leave a lot of likes. You do leave branches. You do engage.
Spread the love. There you go.
That's just awesome. That's the name of the game. So you're killing it.
Okay. Important question, since we're on Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
You're the popular Twitcher, but what's the best memer? Who makes the best
Oh,
memes on
Dookie,
Twitter?
Oh, put her on
Dookie,
the
you.
Dookie.
Just saying.
Three-way
No pressure.
tie. There's a three-way tie. It has to be
Okay.
between you, Dookie. It's Meme God,
Meme God.
and it's the
Of course.
oh God, it's Oz.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
that guy.
Yeah.
Or so.
Oh, yes,
I
yes,
don't know-
yes,
I don't know
yes,
how
The
to
guy
say
that did that compared Craig Wright to Daniel in that epic
That,
movie.
that's
That
the
was-
one. Yeah, that
that's
guy.
the one. Yeah, that's the one.
Was that Steve
Definitely
Buscemi?
three-way tie.
All right, Dookie's out of here. He got the answer he wanted. He's gone. He's like, thank
Yeah.
you, River. Did you
Okay,
guys
Dookie,
record
yeah.
that? I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Been real.
That's awesome.
I can sleep good at night
Hey,
now.
quit while you're ahead, as they say, right?
Time to
Absolutely.
retire. Okay,
I
I
like
want to
it.
do
Much
this
love.
lightning round with you real quick, River. So basically, I'm gonna
All right.
come up. I'm gonna give you a word, and then I just want the first word or two that comes off your head, just so we can.
Okay,
Ready?
I'm nervous now.
Good. Perfect. We wanted to get
This
you.
is rough.
Ready?
Yep.
All right. Time,
Not enough.
wealth,
Time.
activity,
Outdoors.
love,
Complicated.
regret,
Worthless.
creativity,
Love.
hope,
Important.
inspiration,
Beautiful.
family,
Meaning of life. Is that one
Regret.
word? Can I say that?
love it.
That
Aggression,
counts.
aggression,
Subjective.
death.
Inevitable.
Love it. Thank you.
Wow. Very good.
You know
Very
that's
good.
gonna make
Pass?
a badass movie.
That's great.
We'll
That
find
was
out
better
later.
than me.
Very
I
good.
saw the hope really got you. I'm pretty good at reading body language. I saw you like that hope, and
We're gonna dissect it later.
you
We're gonna
always
take
have
this
to
video
have
and
hope
dissect.
no matter what.
Yeah.
Always have to have hope. That's right. I think if you don't
Yeah,
have hope,
absolutely.
yeah.
What else is there?
I
then?
forgot.
What
I
do you have
forgot
to wake
one.
up for
Sorry,
if
I
you don't have
forgot
hope?
one.
Yeah.
I forgot one. Sadness.
Sadness. Sadness. It is a cycle.
Beautiful.
Oh wow.
Beautiful. And now these are times. It's gonna
Yeah.
it's gonna get better. It's gonna
Yeah.
get better, and if it's better,
Yeah.
It
it's
always
gonna get
does.
worse.
Yes.
It's a roller
I
coaster.
think the better it gets, the worse it can get, but it's how you deal with the worst parts that enable you to grow and be better later on.
100%.
What have you learned from
100%.
like you said you just got into yoga, and since I've been involved in a long time, what is that giving you in your life that you didn't have before you got into it?
It gave me, I'm still very new in the practice, obviously, but it's given me a little bit more clarity. It's given me a little bit more patience. I think it's that reflection is so important, and I've definitely learned to have that reflection. And what I've also learned is that you don't need to have an answer for something immediately. That you have time if you need to take some time to respond or anything like that. And a lot of stress comes for me if I don't have the answer immediately. So a lot of things have progressed in a way that I think, especially with yoga, that if you can take that extra little bit of time, which you can, you deserve it. If you need it, you don't need to answer something right away. Get that clarity, have that moment of reflection, and then come back stronger. And I think that's the biggest lesson. And also personal strength as well is a big part of yoga.
The patience must be great for the kids.
Yeah. It's definitely needed. They're in
Especially when
that
they're 14.
toddler stage. Yeah.
Yes.
Try having a 14-year-old daughter.
Speaking of your kids, yeah, you're obviously a very proud mama. Everybody on Twitch has seen your kids in their cute T-shirts. So tell us, what have you learned? What kind of wisdom have you gained from being a mom? What could you tell maybe a new mother?
I think that everything that people tell you is not going to be the way that it pans out. I think that, you know, everyone has their own story, their own interpretation of motherhood in their own life, and you can give as much advice and receive as much advice as possible. But your own way of doing things and trusting your own instinct is the most important part of being a mother, I think. I think that if you are in touch with your inner self and you can trust that instinct, that little voice inside you, that you'll always do okay. I think that no matter what, you know, happens, what you do, you just got to trust that gut instinct and roll with it, because no one's always right, no one's always wrong, and you've just got to, you're on this journey together with these kids, these, you know, brand new little human beings, and they literally depend on you for absolutely everything.
Right.
So you know, you can learn as much as you can, you can read as many books as you can, but no one's going to prepare you for that moment when you have that human being literally completely dependent on you, and you just got to roll with it.
That's
Make
beautiful.
sure they have.
You're kind of like the mama. You're kind of like the mama of BSV almost, because
Mama Bear River.
well, there's so few women.
Far.
There's so few women, and a woman's energy is so needed. The
Mhm.
goddess energy, just to soften things, to lighten things, because men have such big egos.
Yes.
To prevent them
They
from
do.
connecting,
Yeah.
them from connecting and from opening up, from showing themselves. And that's what we're all about, is trying to pull that out of people by creating a safe container.
And you do a
You
really
know
good
what?
job too.
Thank you.
It's funny that we're on that subject, and I even wanted to ask kind of like a question to that effect. Do you think as being a female in BSV, do you think you have an advantage? Do you think you have a disadvantage as far as people that are influencers or whatever the case is?
I don't think I necessarily have an advantage or a disadvantage. I think that everything that I've done in the space, you know, I've worked hard to gain people's
Yourself.
trust.
Yeah.
And so, you know, people could easily have thought, you know, if I had just entered the space kind of right now, you know, as BSV arrived, and I just put my, you know, some pretty pictures up on Twitter and, you know, whatever else. I don't think I would be in the same position that I am now. I think that over the years, I've gained a lot of people's trust. I have a lot of people who've been following me since the very beginning. And I think people have just been able to naturally trust me, and that gives me that upper hand, because I have the time side on my belt as well. So yeah, I don't know.
So it's 100% that you definitely feel good about it. It's definitely shows that you put a lot of work into it.
That's
so
right.
It's definitely more of a hard work merit type thing.
I think so. And you know, I don't want to toot my own horn or anything like that, but you know, I've definitely I've been I've helped a lot of people over the years as well, and I think that in itself, like, you know, financially, I've definitely been able to help a lot of people, you know, reach some financial goals. And you know, in a lot of what I do is I teach a lot of patience. I teach a lot of, you know, these disciplining traits, and I help people learn those levels of discipline, because when coming from a trading background and being involved with a lot of, you know, kind of want to be traders, people who want to be traders, and people who want to do this for a living, or people who want to earn a little bit of extra money to support their family for whatever reasons, you know, that those values alongside the actual, you know, being able to gain that money as well to help them achieve some dreams or some goals. It's been a really nice, humbling experience.
And if they want to, just a quick, if they want to find River, where can they find River? What platforms can they find you on, and how can they find you?
Well, I'm on Twitch, so I'm River. I think I'm 910. My username on
Pretty
Twitch.
popular.
Yeah. Or you
I
can
think
just look in the top 5, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Just go to the
Can't
top.
miss
you can do that. Yeah. I'm on Twitter as well, so at Riverish333, and there you can find links to my YouTube channel. I have a Discord group as well. It's going under a rebrand this month, so next month it's going to be just me, no more Lisa.
Okay.
And it'll be the River Surf School. Yeah.
The River
Riding
Surf
those waves.
School.
Oh, very
Very
cool.
nice.
Very cool.
Are we hearing, is this like exclusive, or people already know
It's
about
pretty
this?
exclusive. Yeah, nobody
All
knows about
right.
it.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Heard it first here. I think those skills of patience that you're talking about, and of not being too emotional, Trading is so important because, look, making money is great, but if you're just gonna make you die earlier and stress out, then it's not worth it. So those skills are very needed.
Exactly, which is why I focus a lot on the swing moves as well. I do spend a little bit of time like getting involved with the scalping, those short-term kind of moves, but for me, those long-term moves, I have a very similar result if I spend, you know, the entire day on the computer trading every wave, or if I just have a trade open for a month, and I have a very similar result doing the same, you know, or very, very hard work, or, you know, just kind of a little bit, take a step back,
work smarter, not harder, right?
Not hard.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that sort of goes along with another question I have for you. So let's pretend for a moment that it was your first day ever owning a Bitcoin. You just got your hand on a little bit of a BSV. What would be one piece of advice that you could give somebody in that situation that you wish you had known on that first day?
Don't margin trade. Don't that's probably my like, protect that Bitcoin. Don't go and throw it away gambling.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, me too. I wish I had known.
Pure game.
Great piece of information. Pure game, man. Woo.
Yeah. You get up to lose it all.
Freaking turtle.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Red turtle.
It's that.
I think a lot of people don't have it.
I always go for the red. It's my favorite color, so I always go red.
Gets me every time.
What were you saying, River, about value?
A lot of people, because they think it's just magical internet money, a lot of people don't actually value it as and are able to cope with losses easier, which makes it easier to go in and kind of gamble it away, because they don't view it as real value just yet. So I think it's important to start to, you know, kind of value that and understand the meaning of Satoshis and you know, the potential future value, because right now a lot of people are just gambling in a way, whether it be on peer game or trading on a margin exchange or, you know,
so would you say, as opposed to gambling it away, create value and put those Satoshis to work? For example, on a Twitch,
invest in yourself.
Spend a day thinking of one of the most amazing 2-cent Twitches that you could think of. Putting those 2 cents to work and making money off. I mean, Dookie's the king of that. He'll tell you right now.
Absolutely.
From nothing.
So would that be that would be pretty good. What other services do you enjoy as far as BSV aside from Twitch?
Right.
I like Streamanity so far. I think they could be a little bit better. I don't know if they're upgrading their.
I agree.
I'm sure they're working on it.
I agree.
Yeah. They definitely have a long way to go before they can be a competitor of YouTube, for example. But I really like, I don't know if any of you are in there, I really love Brad Jasper's bit.sv.
No.
I've been invited, but I never. Yeah.
It's very cool. It's still in alpha, so it's not ready for the general public, but it's a content creator site. If Twitch doesn't hurry up, it's going to be a really big competitor because it has a lot of features that Twitch doesn't. So, for example, you create like a preview to your content, and then to unlock the rest of the content, it has like a little button, and it has its own wallet, so it doesn't have to rely on Money Button or anything like that. It has its own PayMail.
Very cool.
That's cool. What was the name of this?
Bit.sv. Yeah.
Bit.sv. Yep.
Yep.
Cool.
And it's very, very cool. Right now, it doesn't have ready yet the upload features or the video features, but that's coming soon. As I said, it's still in alpha, so he's still getting all the things. He's going to be able to categorize content. He's working on that right now. You can actually remove posts because it's all encrypted. So you can remove posts as you need to, depending on engagement, whatever, if you don't want to have that post on there anymore, whatever else. So you can remove it from the site. It still exists in the blockchain. It's encrypted, but you can remove it from BitSV itself. But yeah, it's super cool. Super cool.
So Moisty needs to step his game up.
That sounds awesome.
So I think he is. I think he's working really, really hard towards towards releasing some nice new features.
He's working.
Well, Harry made a post today.
Yeah.
Harry made a post just not too long ago. I think it was a couple hours ago, and he said making upgrades to the ship, something to that effect, something big launching very soon. And I don't know if you guys noticed. Did you notice on the mobile, Dookie, that when you branch without commenting on the branch that it almost looks like it just came from the creator, and it has the
Yeah,
little
it looks like
thing
a
on top.
retweet. Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
They're giving
Yep.
it more
That-
love. They're
yeah.
getting more money back too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Yep.
is cool. I like
Yep.
that.
Very nice.
I love Twitch. I think it's doing big things from where it came from.
I agree.
It's gone very far, but there are definitely a lot of there must be some type of a massive upgrade that's probably going to be rolling
For
out
sure.
very
Absolutely.
Hey,
I have no
River.
doubt.
River, what's your? Do you have a spirit animal or an animal you connect with in particular?
I have never really thought about that, actually.
Oh,
Let me get back
good.
to you on that.
Perfect, perfect. I'm seeing dolphin energy right now.
I just
Nice.
had dolphin in my head, you.
There it is.
That was the
Gage,
first thing that came to mind.
swim with the dolphins.
There it is. Swim with the dolphins, baby. Swim with the
I love
dolphins.
the Dolphins.
Dolphins are smart,
too.
and they're so
Yeah.
full of joy and so full of love.
They are.
And they protect surfers from sharks. Many
They
times.
do. They do. I've
Yep.
surfed with dolphins on a number of occasions. Very, very beautiful animals.
I surfed with dolphins 3 days ago.
Oh,
Awesome.
amazing.
Well, not surf. I kind of just held on while it dragged me through the water, but it was pretty great.
Nice. That's so cool.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Hey, Dookie,
Yeah,
you
you're my
got
homeboy.
some
I
of those
love it,
questions about Queen Geek that you're going to ask her?
Yeah.
about?
You've been to a few, right?
No,
Coin
I have
Geek?
never been to a Coin Geek.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
My first one.
Oh, my God. I didn't know
Okay.
that.
I almost went to both of the last ones, but at the last minute, I just couldn't.
Well,
I was sick at the time too. It just didn't make much sense.
It's
We're gonna
about
have
the
to-
after party.
Yeah, he was going to have
Yeah.
to
Find out about
the
that.
after parties.
Find out about the after parties.
Are you
Get to
guys
party
going?
with your uncle?
No,
No,
we're not going.
wish.
No, no.
Not important
Eventually,
enough.
we will all be going together. We'll have our own little.
Oh, that's
booth.
right. My gosh,
Yeah,
my memory. I asked you that at the start of the video.
I would love to go.
Yeah,
I
we
think
wish.
London. I hope they have a Coin Geek in Asia again.
Yeah.
It's a little closer for me, and also England's so expensive. It's ridiculously expensive there, especially
It
compared
is. Yeah.
So speaking of
That's
moving
for sure.
around and stuff, when you moved to Brazil, tell us about what that transition was like. Did you have a culture shock moment?
Well,
What shaped
I
you
was
over there?
already traveling. So I left Australia when I was about 20, and I set off to go see the world. And I basically,
Sweet.
That's amazing.
I traveled through a lot of Europe and a lot of Europe, and I went spent some time in Northern Africa, in like Egypt and
Interesting.
Jordan and Morocco. And then a little bit of Asia as well, and kind of in between I ended up settling in Portugal for a little bit of time, so I stayed there for quite a few months. I was working in a hostel at the time, and kind of got sick of the drinking and partying night every single night, so I needed a little bit of a break for a little while.
Right.
Yeah.
So I ended up going back to Australia for a little bit, and I worked for a couple of months just to get some money back behind me. And then I just decided that I was moving to Brazil. It was just I was really young, and I was women at the moment kind of thing. I sold all of my stuff, and I just got my backpack, and I was like, I'm moving to Brazil. That's it.
Wow.
That's pretty ballsy.
I mean, is she brave or what?
Aussies, I don't know if you guys know,
Seriously.
but Aussies love to travel. Aussies are travelers.
I see this.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I ended up, I arrived in Brazil. I was when I was traveling, I did a bit of couch surfing. So I don't know if you guys have heard about couch surfing. It's basically when it's like this
sure.
social media where you kind of meet people online and then you sleep on the couch. It sounds really, really bad when you first get into it, but you have like meetups and stuff like that. And it's a big community, and there are a lot of kind of dodgy people, but there's a way to kind of connect with people and
for what it's worth, if you're ever in Virginia, there's
There you are.
River's couch.
yeah,
Reserved for River.
I like that.
What's your time limit on
Very
that,
cool.
Gage? How
Talk
long-
about,
how long
I
is
mean,
it?
stuff that nobody in the BSV community knew, huh?
Yeah.
This is crazy.
yeah, right. Yeah, for
Like-
sure.
Dude,
Love
you
it,
are
River.
fucking awesome.
Love it.
I
Have you
had a
ever
lot of
slept
fun. I had
under
a
a
lot of
bridge,
fun.
River? Have you ever slept under a bridge?
No, but you know what? I have a really interesting story.
Why?
I came close to that. One night I ended up in Belgium on I usually, when I was in Europe, I caught trains everywhere because it's really, really convenient. They're much cheaper, the trains, and you could also sleep on the trains if you had like an overnight journey or whatever. They had the bunker beds kind of things.
Kind of
So
like
I did
a
that
couch.
a lot. Yeah, so instead of like paying for a
Right.
night's accommodation, you would just sleep in the middle of the transportation. So it kind of made a lot of sense. And one time, instead of catching a train, I ended up getting a plane. And at this time, I was running really, really short of money. I think I had no more than 200 pounds to my name. So I was really doing it rough, like trying to stay in hostels that cost no more than kind of like $5-10 a night. So the really, really rough ones.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
that's okay.
and then
Get what
so
you pay for.
yeah, I ended up in Belgium one night, and then the trains weren't working, and I had to end up catching a taxi somewhere. And so I got into a taxi, except the taxi driver like totally ripped me off. He stole basically all of my money, and so he left me in the middle of nowhere, like in one of those really, really dodgy. I don't know if any of you have been to Belgium, but there's a couple of very
The
I've
dodgy
had
Row,
their
areas.
waffles.
the Skid Row.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ended up in this like kind of the Bronx, the bad
Was it
part
nighttime?
of
Belgium Bronx.
It was nighttime too. It was
Oh, no.
nighttime. It was about 9 o'clock at night. And I was trying to connect to some Wi-Fi somewhere. I was going into like these little dodgy ass little restaurants and trying to connect to their Wi-Fi to find a hostel or something. And
Waffles
then
and Wi-Fi.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Belgium.
And so I found a
Waffles
train
and Wi-Fi
station.
in the Belgian Bronx.
Waffles and Wi-Fi. Yeah.
All right, let's go. Men.
Very cool.
I found a train station, and then so I went to the train station, and I only spoke English. They speak French and they speak Dutch in Belgium. So I didn't speak any of those languages. And I'm trying to ask these people, like, how do I get somewhere? How do I get to like either the middle of the city, or, you know what, I'll just go back to the airport and I'll go somewhere else, or I don't know. And so I ended up getting to the train station, and none of the trains were working again. So it was like past that time of the cutoff, and none of the trains were working until the next morning. And so I thought, okay, fuck it, I'm just gonna have to sleep in the train station. And so I kind of sat down at the train station with my backpack, and I sat down, and this the guy who I was talking to, he ended up finding someone that spoke English. And then long story short, he took me out for dinner, really, really nice old guy, he had a family, and he ended up hosting me in his house that night, and I slept at his daughter's bed. And
Oh my God.
yeah,
That's
like
amazing.
just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful human being. And
They're out there.
Very
They're
cool.
out there,
Yeah.
aren't
For sure.
In the
Yeah.
Belgium Bronx.
they? And, you know,
Yeah.
what traveling has
Frickin'
taught me
sweet.
is that there's good people willing to help all over the world, and it's our
There is.
responsibility to pay it forward. You
Yeah,
know?
that's right.
Absolutely.
We're always, you know,
Right.
I'm into localism, of course, a little bit, because, you know, that's what we learn as surfers. But I respect locals everywhere I go. And whenever anybody is traveling and comes to my place, I treat them like guests, because
Yep.
that's how you want to be treated, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But
Well,
but Mr. Andreas hasn't left Miami in 25, 30 years.
Wow.
The military brat. So I
He did his
moved way too
traveling.
much
You
as
move
a
too
kid.
much.
yeah.
Yeah, so you know, once we came to Miami, I literally like
You're
I don't
home.
leave the
leave.
zip
You're
code.
home.
For the first time since '99, I left on a cruise, a 3-day cruise on Royal Caribbean. It was amazing, and I'm dying to do it
Wow.
again.
Hated every moment of it.
So
Couldn't wait
good.
to get back home.
We're gonna take you to South Korea. We're gonna take you to
I was
South
able to
Korea.
get my little vape carts in there, so I was chilling. I was good.
Vape
I was
carts?
on the top deck, and all I wanted to do was just be on the top deck at night and just like with no lights around and just look up, and it was
Stars.
so relaxing. Me and my lady, we were just chilling. She likes to watch movies.
Amazing.
I don't watch TV. I don't watch movies. Nothing
watch
like
Switch.
that. So she was watching the movie that was on the screen. Wow, I can't believe I don't remember. I wasn't watching it, but
The Titanic?
what was? Oh no, it was the
Wrong
Titanic.
movie for a cruise.
Oh no, hey, that's a great
Romantic,
meme
man.
right
That's
there.
romantic.
That is
That's
funny.
They
that's
die
a
on the
good one.
boat.
No,
man.
you know
They
what it
die
was?
on the
It
boat.
was the one where the kid. It's like the kid becomes a little skeleton kid, and then It's some
This
in
is
regards
weird, man.
to.
No.
It's hard to explain, man.
Let's
It's
get
a
back to the
freaking-
stars, under the boat, looking up at the stars.
Oh my God, it was amazing to just lay there and just look up, and you could see. Like if I close my eyes now, I could just see it. It was.
You're gonna go to
Yeah,
sleep
you're
if you
used to the
close your
city
eyes
lights.
all
Darkness.
night, dude. You've been up
Oh,
all
I'm
City
too
lights.
hyped, dude.
Close your
I'm
eyes.
too hyped right now. I'm still like on a very high adrenaline rush right now.
You know, Dookie was talking about a particular person that I've been curious about too. Because I was in contact with him on Twitter through my Ohm Station account. But I think I scared him off with my Frog Hunter presence, and that's Wall Street 5. You want
Pretty big
Oh,
figure.
yeah.
in PSV.
what do you know
No,
about
he's
this
a
guy?
great guy.
Love
I
this
speak
guy.
to him every day.
We love
I don't
this
know
guy.
much about him. I know he does a lot for the community, and I know you talk to him a lot. He loves him some Rivers.
He's a humble
like
brother. He
the
seems
rest
so
of us.
humble.
He's a great guy, really great guy. He works really, really hard. He has a really high demand job, and no, he's an amazing guy. But you know, he's
Very,
anonymous
very
to all of you.
generous.
So
Very.
yeah,
He's onboarded a lot of people.
He
that's
like
for
pays
sure.
for developers to go to like CoinGeek and stuff.
Isn't
and
that
he just-
amazing? Yeah,
Yeah.
he
And
spent.
if
I think he
anybody-
100 Bitcoin.
he donated 100 BSV this year. I think
That's
for
right.
for this conference.
That is amazing.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Prop-
he's-
big props.
Big
for
up.
He's
Big
been,
up to Wall Street 5, man.
he's
That's
been
Yeah, that's
big.
amazing.
So supportive over. I noticed because I wasn't really involved with BSV, like I wasn't putting myself out there, but I was watching it since the split. Is the humility. Wall Street 5 never wanted to take credit. He never was like, look at me. He was always so humble.
Yeah.
He
with
didn't
a-
even have an avatar until.
No, he doesn't have a picture. He doesn't have
Yeah,
it. Like no one knows
he
his
doesn't
name.
care.
Yeah.
There's no questions asked. That's really, really, really.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Maybe Dookie's Wall Street 5.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
It really wouldn't surprise me with
no.
all that Twitch money,
Undercover brother, bro.
right?
No, not this guy.
Undercover
I
brother.
ain't the only
And takes one to know one, Hunter. I don't
River.
know, man.
Mhm.
This sketchy guy with a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. It's the shades on.
one.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Wall Street 5 right there.
Yes,
That's
sketch.
great.
Gotta go, guys. Gotta go to the meat market, and then all of a sudden he goes dark, and Wall Street 5
Yeah,
is on
the
focus,
meat
right?
market.
No,
Come
when
on,
777 first showed up, I was like, "Is this Wall Street 5 throwing around this money? Is this Wall Street 5?" But obviously,
No.
I don't think
777
so.
is a really cool guy. Mike he's a pretty cool guy, man.
you know,
Pretty cool.
River.
We
One of
talked to him
them.
on the phone before.
Who?
That guy is a
Oh,
really
Mike. Yeah,
stand-up
Mike.
character, man.
He is
Really
Yeah,
stand-up character.
He is. Hey, River. One of the
What about
things that. Oh, go ahead, Dookie.
River here got a $10,000 donation.
Yeah.
777. Yeah, I remember
That's
that.
$10,000.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Shared that
was
around a
doing
lot too.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, we've seen that. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is
My
great.
hand cash is grown
Yeah.
since you received that.
Sure
Dookie,
enough.
Yeah.
Dookie was stoked.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Hey, one of the things.
I love hand cash, all the dings.
Oh,
I get 'em all
Yeah,
day
it's so
long.
much fun. My gosh,
Yeah.
mine.
All-
I got to be honest though. I don't check it as much because I just get notifications all day long from like people.
Oh, I'm sure.
One cent,
Oh,
one cent,
poor
one cent,
River.
one cent.
Poor River is getting.
I love it
I'm
though.
not complaining. I'm not complaining. I actually had to turn notifications off because it's look at this. In the last
Constant.
hour, there's like 20.
Oh my God.
That's awesome.
It's-
Look, we're keeping her
sleep and
away
make
from
money.
the
I
people.
love it. I love it.
Yeah. No,
Maybe-
it's amazing though. It's so much fun just to kind of share it all around and got it. My app gets really slow because every time I try to send out like 1,000 dings at once, it freezes all the time.
Really?
I
Yeah.
think I
That
overuse
is
the app.
hilarious.
Yeah.
The transition.
That's great.
The transaction.
More people need hand cash friends.
Yeah.
But
Not enough
that's
people
the
are on
great
there.
thing, though. The microtransactions are probably one of the biggest, best things that BSV has, and being able to handle
Absolutely.
all those transactions. Do you know more? How many transactions was it that they were saying that BSV could probably handle a block right now?
Right
At,
now,
like,
it really
maximum
depends on the
levels.
miners. The miners need to be able to, right now the miners have a soft cap on the block. So, you know,
Okay.
we've been trying to push through the last couple of days. We've had blocks that were over 128 megabytes ready to go through. And I don't know if you noticed, but the mempool ended up getting full for a couple of blocks while waiting
Yeah.
for those transactions to go through because the miners that were getting the blocks didn't have that ability, or they had the soft cap enabled to not accept more data than you know, say what 8 megabyte or whatever there is on their block. But eventually, I think TAL accepted 128 megabyte block. So the capability is definitely already there to accept in one block, you know, millions of transactions. And I think that per second TX rate of zero confirmation is already in the millions. I mean, if someone blasted, you know, 1 million microtransactions, you know, kind of right now, they would all get transferred. They would all get done immediately.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
That's amazing.
That's unbelievable.
It is.
Hey, River, do you think if you were, like, you do so much for BSV and you're so active, it's amazing. And do you think if you had unlimited resources, like if you had 1 billion, whatever it is that would make you think that for you and your next generations were covered, how would your life look different if you had that kind of resource?
I think if I had those kind of resources, I'd be doing a lot more. I'd be doing even more than what I do now. I don't do nearly enough. But the resources, I mean, they can help in a certain way or not. I think that I would definitely be sponsoring a lot of, you know, as many kind of startups as possible, developers, to get working, to get building, to get as much happening as possible. I think.
You just give back to the community, huh?
I would try as much as I can. Yeah.
Right.
I don't know that question.
So you wouldn't.
I mean, you've already proved that. You definitely are that type
She would
of
have
person.
River Island. She would have
River
River
Island.
Island.
I would travel a lot more if I had
good.
the unlimited resources.
There
I would
you go.
travel
That's
a
what we
lot
want
more.
to hear.
Yeah.
Sure.
Where would you go? Where would you go?
River Island with
Everywhere.
like 1,000 couches on it.
Yeah. You can crash anywhere you want. Everybody.
Yeah.
That is great.
First
That is
couch
great.
island.
We'll buy our blow up
Oh,
couch.
you know how much material you have just from this conversation, Dookie? You know how many memes?
Oh yeah, memes they're coming already.
Oh yeah.
I'm loading them.
Couch
I love
surfing River.
This is just material.
This is
I love
this
the
is
laughter.
gold right here.
Stay there.
This is
Having the
what you
Wi-Fi
call
and
data
waffles.
gold right here.
It's like an in-the-box cuddle puddle.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
River is the laughter is gone viral here.
Absolutely.
I'm
Waffles
so
and
excited.
Wi-Fi.
Excited to see the response on this, so people could actually. I mean, I'm sure you have. I mean, we know Dookie's your biggest fanboy, but I'm sure there's a few more out there.
I'm
And
your biggest fan, Dookie.
Thank you.
There
That
we
means
go.
that
There we
it's
go.
all worth it now.
It's all worth
It's all
it.
worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
That's a lot to live up to, though, man. That's a lot to live up to.
No
For real.
doubt.
I gotta
That's
step
a
up
big
my game.
responsibility.
Oh, for sure. You at least stay consistent. you
Maybe
know?
I'll be number
Absolutely.
one instead of just tied for 3, huh? I gotta work on it.
I think she was just saying that to be nice. We all know you're her favorite.
Yeah, that's right.
You don't
Just
wanna
don't
hurt
tell the other
no feelings.
guys.
Don't tell
Yeah,
them.
that's
We'll
right.
cut that part out.
Yeah, nobody will ever hear.
Yeah,
this.
we'll pay attention.
Hey, River, I want to hit you with this question. That is, because this is called In the Box for various reasons, randomly it ended up that way. If the River that's grown into such a beautiful, amazing, productive woman, if she was in the box, and you, as the wiser self, the wiser version of River, was looking back in at that younger version of River, what advice would you give her?
Ooh. Mm. That's deep.
I do believe this now. I was a very wise 20-year-old girl, and I'm only 28 now. Only 8 years have passed. And looking back, I used to write a lot. I used to write everything, all my thoughts, all my feelings. I used to write blogs. I used to write articles. I used to spend a lot of time writing. And somewhere along the way on this journey, I managed to lose all of those little pieces of me that made me really, really me, in the process of living in a foreign country, in the process of having children, in the process of, being a wife and all those kind of things. I think that those important things back then and reading back on all of my old pieces of writing this year really reminded me of all those things that made me me and encouraged me to get those back, I guess. And a lot of what you guys see on Twitter and Twitch and wherever else is me coming out again, because it's harder in a way to be. I don't have a lot of people close to me here, so I think that striving to be the best that I could be is one of those things that I have the opportunity to be on Twitter and on Twitch and with all of you got beautiful people, and those human connections are the most important thing. So I think that striving to have those human connections, that time of reflection, whether it be writing or meditation or whatever else, I think those things moving forward will stop the spiral from spiraling in and enable it to start spiraling out again. Does that make any sense?
Totally. Sure does.
No.
Absolutely.
No.
He just wants to hear her talk. You know it.
Keep going. Keep going.
Just keep talking.
Don't stop
River.
now.
Just keep talking.
In layman's terms, please.
Yeah.
I think it's really inspirational. That was really awesome. I mean, yeah.
Do you feel like when you were younger and you didn't have as much going on, it was
easier?
Yeah, it was easier to kind of like start to get to know the parts of yourself because you could give to that.
Definitely. Yes, absolutely. I think that when I set out on this journey because that was basically what I was doing. When I set out to travel the world, I was really setting out to find myself and discover parts of me that maybe I hadn't discovered before, and just be totally open-minded and free and, open and accepting to everything.
That's what's hard about the community is that you're looked at like the way they looked at you, that's River and that's how she is. And they put you in a box.
Yeah.
When you get outside of your little world, people look at you with fresh eyes.
Yeah.
And you
absolutely
look at yourself with fresh eyes.
Yeah. The ability to be able to do that is it's an acquired skill too, to be able to really look deep inside yourself. I still am learning that, every day, trying to be able to find those parts that are really important and work towards, keeping them and fueling them and giving all those little parts love as much as possible. But it's a journey, and I don't think it ever ends. I think that it's always going to be a journey. It's always going to be work. Just need to have the motivation to keep up with that and, keep giving yourself as much love as possible. I think a lot of people forget that really easily, that you are not important. You have to take care of other people. And especially once you become a mother, it's really easy to just let go of yourself and forget about your own needs and your own wishes, your own desires. And so that was also a really hard thing for me. All of a sudden you have these dependent humans, and so, losing you become less and less prioritized and less important. And it shouldn't be like that. No one else is going to take care of you but you. So, you need to make that happen.
You can't give from an empty cup. You can't give.
Exactly.
You're grounded and you're clear and
Exactly.
It's hard to give to anybody else.
Yeah.
But you emanate that. You emanate a enthusiasm for life. It's really beautiful and it's contagious.
Absolutely.
The smile is definitely contagious.
Guys.
That's freaking awesome.
That's probably the best compliment I've ever received. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
You heard it here.
That's real.
First.
Yeah.
It's one thing to know about a lot of things, to get this education to make a living, but I feel like the children in our culture, in our Western culture, we forget to give them an education on how to be happy, how to live, how to be content with little, how to give thanks for every moment. And obviously that's not easy to do, but the parents of this world, I feel like I'm not a parent and I don't think I'll ever will be, but I look at the good parents of this world as basically, the most amazing service work, because you're bringing these people into the world who are going to be the next generation of people to help people, the people to save the earth, the people to. So, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for being a great mother.
Thanks. I'm trying. I think one of those important things is that what I'm starting to realize now is that the things that happen in your childhood, you might not think that they affect you in a certain way, but I've started looking into, I don't really know much about it yet, to be honest, but I think a few of you guys know what shadow work is.
Yes.
Yeah. So I've been doing a little bit of research about that kind of stuff, and what I'm realizing is that these small things that maybe my influence on my own children and their emotions and their you know what they like and what they don't like can have an effect on them kind of later in life. And so I try to encourage them that my two kids are so different, but they're kind of yin and yang best friends, but also totally opposite. They have different personalities, they have different interests, they're totally opposite kids. They have different tempers, everything is completely different. And so trying to be able to encourage both of them at the same time to do what they love can get really, really difficult. But I really do strive to give them the opportunity to find themselves along the way and stumble and fall, but be able to get themselves back up again, you know, on that journey as well, with, of course, my help to push them up as much as possible. But, you know, my dream is to have two very independent boys that, you know what they want, know what they live for, and aren't afraid to go out and get what they need to survive.
So is the shadow work you're talking about looking at your own childhood and maybe stuff that's happened?
Yeah. So I still don't really know how to get so deep just yet on my own self. I know that there's definitely a few things that need to be looked at, and I've been seeing a psychologist for a little bit. Hey,
have you ever done any somatic healing, like the breath work? Because it can be very, very. You need somebody to help facilitate it. For sure.
Okay, no, I haven't.
but I know that a lot of people use that in order to retrace some steps that maybe they haven't felt, because we have cellular memory of memories and if we don't release that, that stays, and it's hard to be happy, and it's hard to have all these qualities we might want to have them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But if we have these cellular memories that are so deep in these pains, they have to come out.
Yep.
And I think we all have them. Dookie?
Yeah. Very
What?
interesting.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I'm listening. Yeah.
I
don't get into feelers very easy.
Yeah, I know. When I got Dookie and I did the speed round, I was hitting him with these questions like sadness and all this, and he's just like, "Wait a second, what are you doing here? What's happening?
I don't like this."
Got him right in the feels.
Sorry, the internet's cutting out.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't want to
All right, I have one more random question I have written down for you. It's kind of out of nowhere, but what kind of music do you like to do when you're crunching your crypto numbers? What helps you get in the zone?
Oh, you know what? I have a lot of different music tastes. I like a little bit of everything. But I really, it's so random. Like it really depends on my mood. So I love like kind of Pearl Jam, and I always listen to like kind of I have Pearl Jam on repeat if I'm in like that kind of mood. I really like Foo Fighters. And
awesome.
There's a few different bands that I have on my playlist. I can't remember at the time right now.
So
but
you're a rocker.
I do, but I also have a side of me that really likes the pop. You know, the kind of like really, really popular music. And then I also really like Brazilian and Spanish pop.
Okay.
So it depends on my mood, and I have those kind of like the kind of like rocky bands. I wouldn't really call Pearl Jam rock. They're more like Rouge, grunge,
jam band. Yeah, kind of.
What's your top 3 favorite Pearl Jam songs, River?
Oh my gosh, top 3! Jesus Christ! You know, I went to see their concert last year, and Eddie Vedder is amazing. Do you know he jumped into the crowd like we're all in the kind of mosh pit? Amazing. Yeah, it was really
He's been doing that for 30 years, 25 years.
Gosh, top of my head, top song, of course, like oh my gosh, I can't even. I'm like mind blanking right now.
Okay, I'll give you mine. My top 3.
All right.
Immortality.
Okay.
Black.
I like Black too.
I like the slow ones, and of course Release. I love Release.
Hunter likes some slow jams.
I want to hear his
I
soul.
can't think of name.
I want to hear the words. I
No,
want to hear
Jeremy.
the sadness.
Jeremy's a really good one. Jeremy's a sad one, though. I do like Jeremy. Probably my favorite of all time is Better Man, I think. If
There
I
you
could
go.
choose a favorite, I think Better Man
What about
is a
Nothing
really,
Man?
really good one.
Nothing, man.
I'll tell you
Yeah.
what, River. Why don't you pick one song and I'll cover it for you and film it and post it on Twitch.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Oh,
That would be
there you
really
go.
cool. God, now I have to.
Think about it. Get back to me.
You
All right, I
got
will.
time.
It ain't gotta
About
be
a
I
little-
that.
will.
Does it have to be
God,
pro
you'd
Jam?
be so good at the Foo Fighters.
No.
Like, nah.
Hey, listen,
Foo Fighters song.
Foo Fighters is one of my favorite groups ever. I love
can
Foo
Well,
play
Fighters to
Foo
death.
Fighters.
I
Grohl,
can do
he
any
was
Foo Fighters you want me to.
Make him do
Let me
something
know.
real
drummer for
embarrassing.
Nirvana, right? I mean,
Yeah, Grohl
yeah, and then
was,
he became the lead guitarist or what?
lead. Yeah, he's the
Yeah.
head
That's
honcho.
Satan
of Foo
impersonator.
Fighters.
Yeah.
Right.
And he plays Satan.
Have you guys had Salty on here before?
You're the
No.
first
No.
You're
person,
our
River.
first,
You're our first
like, real
Official
interview.
guest, right?
Should get Salty on next time. I'll join you guys too. Salty's awesome.
We're
Salty's
always
a
sounds
down.
guitarist
great.
and singer.
Nobody,
Yeah.
nobody wanted to get on, and now that we figure once we got River, everybody will want to get on. So you're
Oh, for sure.
Reservations now.
Yeah, that
For
was
sure.
like mission number one.
Before
was
we were
the-
getting random people in rehab and
Right.
whatever. Actually, that's something we're gonna always do is throw the live links on Twitch. We want to be open,
Right.
Always.
open always.
Good. That's a great
So
And
idea.
we're not
Yes,
only about
yes.
interviewing the big people, the top 5.
Right.
We also, want to get interviews with some of the
Right.
people that are active that might not have the most followers.
Let's put it
That,
this way,
Yep.
River.
You know,
If you were
Give them a
really
voice.
trying hard to
Yeah.
grind. Give them a voice.
Yeah.
Give them a
We're
voice,
always
give them a voice, yeah.
sometimes we even offer a few cents. Hey, follow this person. Some
Right.
random
Cool.
person that's been really cool. Whatever the case is, trying very hard to get out there, putting out nice posts.
We
For
just want to
example,
promote the
Patricia.
platform. Anybody and
Yeah.
anybody,
Yeah.
And one of
big
the
and
things-
small. If you're a
One of the
member,
things we
you're
all had
welcome.
in common is we none of us really had a reputation before we got on Twitch. So we really
Right.
worked from the ground up. We had to let our
Yeah.
content speak for ourselves. And so we kind of vowed to try to lift other people up and to try to see who's been putting in the work and
Yeah.
to spread the love around, like you say.
Good
In
stuff,
the words
guys.
of River, I don't mean to toot our own horns, but I think we've been doing a pretty good job at that.
Yeah.
You guys
It's
have
been
been
a
doing a
lot of
really
fun
good job.
for sure.
We're
Yeah.
having fun.
Yeah.
We're having
Thank
fun.
you.
We're
Thank
having
you.
fun. We definitely we're not going anywhere as far as like we do this for the love. We're not there's no finances involved. We do it because we love it, and anybody that wants to help that's listening to this isn't going to be paid. This is all if you have people have enthusiasm.
River's like, I'm not getting paid. What?
Oh.
Wait a minute. I thought she was paying us.
Yeah,
How
all
much-
right.
when people have
For hand
enthusiasm,
cashes, I'll
yeah, right.
Yeah.
sing you some dungs.
And my hand cash.
That's right.
We're not getting money until we post this on Twitch.
That's
That's right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We'll see how it turns out.
We'll make this blow up on Twitch, and we'll
Now,
get on
quick
it.
question for anybody that's watching, especially for Dookie, for all your fanboys, fangirls out there, if they want to leave you a small tip or something of that nature to help you through your costs, to help out other people, whatever the case is, how can they reach out and leave you a few dings?
Are you talking to me or are you talking to Dookie?
Yeah, to River. I'm
We're all-
talking
you
to
can-
you, River. I'm
you can
just
definitely
asking
leave
for
it.
Dookie. He
Just
wants to know where
love.
he can send you all his money.
Oh, well, if you want to send me I only accept all of your money.
Okay.
Okay.
Dookie, we're talking 10%.
Dude, this is perfect. This is so great.
my hand
Wait.
cash is $River. Just
Simple.
River.
Simple.
Easy enough.
Fantastic. How about Money Button? Do you
I
have
try
Money
to
Button? Do
de-
you have a relay?
I
Anything? Or
do.
are you
I'm
just
at
sticking
River.
with
I'm
hand
one
cash
River.
right now?
I'm the only place that I'm not River is Simply Cash. Someone stole River on Simply Cash, but everywhere else,
Okay.
I'm just
Find
River.
them.
Dookie did it.
Kick their ass.
Yeah.
Dookie did it.
I need.
Well,
Was
yeah.
it Dookie? Did you
Fanboy.
steal my Simply Cash River?
Fanboy.
Yeah.
There's another meme. You're gonna have to put yourself like in the Hitman.
Yep.
Yeah.
Looking for the Simply Cash.
That's trying to get that River.
Oh yeah.
Huh?
He's already got
There's a-
River.
there's a contract out.
I didn't know
There's
we
a
were-
contract out for that Simply Cash.
He's got all the
Handle.
domains registered.
Just hook
great.
it up
That's
so if
messed up,
anybody
man.
sends Dookie money, 10% goes immediately to River.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
it definitely does after
For
today.
sure. He's paying
Absolutely
alimony
does. All of
without
ours.
ever. So how do you feel about this interview? This whatever this has. How has this differed from any other podcast, Twitchcast, whatever you want to call it? How has this differed from anything else you've
Help
done
us
so
out.
far, as far as your
You guys
do.
are really
YouTube stream
cool, and
entity
it's all
career?
really open. Like you guys are, it's just a nice vibe in here. Really, really open and inviting. You know, a lot of cool guys just hanging out in the
Oh.
box. I like it. It's cool.
That
That
means
might
you're
have
gonna
been
come
the
back
best
someday, River.
compliment I've ever got. Right
No
there.
kidding.
Does that mean you're coming back someday, River, to see us again?
I'll come back for
She's gonna
sure.
bring.
Whenever you
She's
guys
gonna
want
bring
me.
salty.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How
Bring
about
any
when we
friends.
throw out some of these public links?
Yeah.
Can we count on you to jump in one day? Just hey,
Randomly,
I'm
Absolutely.
bored.
5
Let's
minutes.
jump
Send
in.
me-
Let's see
That's
who's in
awesome.
here.
Send
Yeah,
me a
you jump in
DM
for 5
anytime you
minutes,
guys
say
jump
hi.
on, and I'll jump in whenever I can.
That's fantastic.
Awesome, River. Awesome, River.
This
Because
is-
I
this
know
is
you're a mom. You got a lot of shit
coolest
going
thing.
on. We don't want to take up any more of your
Right.
time. You are
No,
Sure.
so
feel
loved.
free. If I can't join you, I won't join you. But send me the link every time you do it, and I'll do my
Always,
best to
and
jump on.
you know, with your
For sure.
clout and your popularity, if you see it, if you would like, branch out. That way we could get some of the smaller people in.
Yeah.
Have
Help
them
us out.
feel, have them understand about what we're doing in here. Because again, we have a very
Right.
strict open door policy.
Mhm.
Very strict.
Anybody could join, big, small, it doesn't matter. If you need somebody to talk to, if you just want to hang out, if you just want to lurk and see what we're doing in here,
Yep.
it's always available.
We call it the philosophy of
Amazing.
flow. It's the philosophy of flow.
And we're not
Because
talking
My
about
name
the
is
progressive
River.
chick either.
that's why River fits in
Correct.
here. That's it. That's it.
There,
River and the philosophy of
Uh-huh.
flow, man. Either you
Yeah.
jump in the river, or you stand as a spectator on the side of the bank. And
That's it.
we're jumping in for sure.
Just find some Wi-Fi and waffles and hop on in. You know,
Yeah.
that's all it is.
hopping on the next flight to Belgium. Right?
Yeah. Mhm. Absolutely.
That is freaking awesome. I let me tell you something. You have balls, because I would never freaking
She doesn't.
No
get up
kidding.
and go like that. That is like we say cojones. That's
Yeah.
some big cojones you got there.
She's got balls just for coming and hanging out with us.
I
Oh,
know
there's no
that.
doubt about that. There's no doubt
I
about that.
know.
funny to
And
me.
she
Think you were
acts
showing.
so well pretending to like it as well. Pretty sure we aren't paying her. We
She
aren't
can't
paying her, are we?
pretend. River's not a pretender, man. She's
No,
this
you
one.
can tell she's as real
I'm
as she
here.
gets.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it, you guys.
That is so awesome.
We've been on for over an hour now. You got a life. We thank you so much for coming, and I know you're coming back.
I will come back.
Don't Dookie will stalk you.
Many times, hopefully.
Absolutely.
So thank you
Oh.
so much for joining us and
Thank you
making
for
this
having
initial
me.
connection. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
River,
this
you
was
are
really
the
Thank you,
best.
River.
Thank you,
Thank you
guys.
so
Yeah,
much.
thank you so much.
Let Dookie get the last word.
I
Yeah,
gotta go get to my meat. Meat's calling.
All right, Wall
Whoa.
Street
The beat's
Five.
calling, huh?
All right, Wall Street
Oh.
Five. Go get on the computer. Go to Twitter.
Man, this was so
Good.
awesome. Again, River,
Yeah,
thank
this
you
was
so
so
much
great.
for joining
Thank
us
you
here
guys
tonight
for
for
having
this. This
me.
was awesome. Likewise,
Do
high
it again
five.
soon.
Boom.
Yes. Boom.
Jump in the
This
river.
was
My
so
green screen
freaking
cuts
cool.
off my head.
Oh, I guess I can That's awesome.
Hey, yeah, on some real, whenever you want, whenever we just come on here, we'll just send you a DM or whatever
Yeah,
the case is.
please
If
come
you want to
back.
join,
Please
if
come
you're
back and hang out
bored,
with us.
just jump on.
Right.
We'll always love to have your voice on here.
And also,
Mhm.
River, we want to be sensitive with anything you don't want us to share with anybody, because that's how we can build trust and build.
Yeah, no worries.
So thanks for sharing about your health. And I'm very open to keeping that with us, because that's a sacred thing and that's a special thing that you shared. And I feel like when you did that right off the bat, what you did was you created some kind of okayness to share our hearts, because you set some kind of, I forget what they call that, but some kind of mirroring or some kind of a
Personal.
comfort zone. It's a comfort zone, because if you show,
Absolutely.
if Dookie started crying right now and his heart started
I almost did.
overflowing, then we'd all be comfortable to cry. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you
The
said
night
that,
is
Appreciate
young.
that.
yeah. So
And it's been amazing. Everybody that's ever come on has been so open and so genuine and sincere from the second that they get
It's
on.
such a nice environment for sure.
Everybody.
Yeah, everybody's so comfortable, and you just feel like you can be brave in here. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
You know, Gage found out about BSV like 2 weeks ago. Let's put it that way. 2-3 weeks ago.
It's been
That's
like
what's
3 or 4 now. You know,
Freaking veteran.
No,
He's always taking
BS veteran over here.
Kind of know what I'm
Always
talking
taking
about.
notes.
bad thing.
I have Gage. I think I have you on my ding list on my.
You do.
Yeah.
I thought I was only getting the dings.
Oh, you'd be wrong. You'd be wrong.
You know, that's what's amazing is that right off the bat, it doesn't matter if you've been in BSV for one day or since the split, or if you've known about Bitcoin since whatever. What are you doing right now? How are you contributing right now? How are you showing up right now? And so that's
proof of fun.
Proof of fun.
Proof of fun. That is right. And this is definitely at the top of fun that we've had. This has been we've been so hyped for this river. We've been like every single day talking about
I hope I didn't let you down.
No.
You went
better
above and beyond all expectations.
We're all so blessed to have had you come on and just be as cool as you are. Like, just really awesome.
We were
Thank you so much,
nervous.
guys. I really appreciate it.
Oh my God! Hopefully this
better than I expected.
Hopefully she doesn't freak out about any of the questions. Hopefully we can keep this going on long enough.
Yeah. Hopefully we didn't.
The internet doesn't magically cut off.
Yeah.
Actually,
I'm sorry, guys.
Unfollow.
My internet is it's cutting out.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we were afraid of. Like,
Yeah.
If we get on Twitch and we're all unfollowed,
okay.
Yeah.
One quick question.
We'll know what was really going on.
I want to get
health
one
too.
last question out of you, and this one is kind of important to me.
All right.
Dookie, did you already ask this, or am I tripping? Because I really wanted you to ask. Can you explain the MetaNet in layman's terms?
Oh yeah, great question.
Really
Okay.
I can't.
Okay, the MetaNet in normal person terms. So basically, it's the internet, except it doesn't have the downside of the lack of privacy, and it also increases the ability to have less advertising. So the current model of the internet is probably the best way to explain it. So the current model of the internet incentivizes lack of privacy and advertising. Both of those go hand in hand together. So basically, you're selling your soul or your habits, let's say, to fund advertising from numerous companies which control all of the data that you spend. So every little footstep you make on the internet, you're leaving cookies behind, and all those cookies contain little pieces of your habits, yourself, your data, whatever else. Basically, the new internet model puts in little microtransactions, which means that instead of selling little pieces of you're paying for information. So you're paying little microcents to have access to information. So every Google search you do, you're getting real results instead of what they're paying to show you.
Right.
Correct. So you don't have the gatekeeper. You're getting the direct information. This was actually, it's funny that we're spinning off on this, and this was something we wanted to talk about too, about the whole gatekeepers. How do you think BSV is going to change that? Like you're saying, through the MetaNet, is that is definitely going to be a way to eliminate these gatekeepers. For example, just one example, if you're on Twitter, it might be a top trending United States tweet, but it has 500 likes, and then there's another post that has 500,000, and now they're trying to suppress it, and it's not trending, and they're just trying to suppress it. It'll never get more reach than that, and they're just force feeding you these and it doesn't even have to be advertising. They're just force feeding you these content creators or whatever, or their agenda. For certain content creators, whether you like it or not, more than likely you don't. So,
and there's not an equal opportunity for if you have the wrong kind of information, or if some corporation doesn't like the information that you're sharing, whether it be truthful or false or not, or whatever, whether they like it or not, you're not getting the voice. You don't have that equal opportunity of spreading your voice, which is what social media in the first place was meant to do. It was meant to give you a voice, meant to give you the opportunity to share your thoughts, your whatever. Like when Twitter came out, it was like, oh, you just share what's in your mind kind of thing. Like what's on your mind. They literally say that on the Twitter thing. So, but it's not like that anymore. It's gone into more political things where everything's kind of suppressed and you don't have access to
political correctness and
exactly. You
this
can't say
political party is not, you know, are evil people, so we gotta suppress them, or we gotta censor them, or even ban them.
And people getting banned just for opinions, not for being lewd or crude or inappropriate, but just for their opinion. Right.
Correct.
Exactly. It's a really, we're living in 1984 right now. Like we're in the
This
middle
is
of a George
definitely as
Orwell
Orwellian
book.
as it will ever get.
Yes, absolutely.
100%.
Which is perfect timing for Bitcoin to come and save the day and be ready to save the day, let's say, because
they're starting already.
Yep.
They're definitely
the timing really is perfect.
Yep.
Because people are fed up with it. They don't want to do ads.
People are scared. The thing is that right now is that people understand to a certain extent that the things that you put online are able to be accessed by whatever, whether they understand the level of the access that their data gets, whether it just be between their friends and family on Facebook, you know, and people can look back 10 years ago and see your Facebook history, or if they actually realize that the corporations themselves, Facebook themselves, you know, are actually using that data to sell you stuff and to, you know, basically a lot of things like, for example, one thing that really, really shocked me, not, you know, it already shocks me that, you know, things like WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook application, Messenger application are listening to your habits every day without
when you
permission.
say Coca-Cola, or if you say
exactly, and then you're going to get an
water,
advertising.
and then you get the ad,
exactly.
Yeah.
But what's even more shocking is that applications are selling their data to Facebook. So, like for example, there was a women's period tracker, like a menstruation cycle tracker application, where women could go in and put their data in on their cycles every month, which, you know, if you have data on how women's cycles work, you can start selling them things in different periods of time in the right way. You know, like, and it's really
no pun intended.
Like that.
Different periods of time, no pun intended.
So these applications are selling their data to Facebook. So Facebook is monopolizing all of this data right now. One corporation is monopolizing all of this data, has control of all of this data. And what Bitcoin does is it takes the power out of it. It enables anyone to access data, if it's public or if it's encrypted, you know, you pay to access it or whatever. But there are channels and ways for this data to be able to be monetized so that your personal information is not getting sold. So I'm River, I'm 29 years old, I live in this place, this address, whatever, I go to this place so the data that you choose to sell and share and that you give access to on these applications, or whether it be whatever, there's no fear in losing your identity because it's all on chain. So if an application openly shares your identity, your email address, your whatever else, it's trackable, it's traceable. You can track it back. You can shut that company down immediately. But you don't have fear in sharing your data, because what that shared data does is it can, over time, enable a better world, because we have more information. We can start to predict and prevent trends from happening. We can start, you know, the power of data is not only in just like what we can see now, what exists now, but we can start to predict and prevent things from happening, or you know, the power of that data is it's incredible, and it will take many years to get to that point to where we need to be. But you know, I think that initial fear of privacy is that first step to get rid of.
And a lot of people are getting that.
Yeah.
A lot of people are getting that fear.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really popular issue right now, for sure.
That's for sure.
And also along with the MetaNet, and I know I don't know the most technical things. I know how to send Dookie a bunch of money on hand cash. Same thing for Gage, for River as well, probably soon. But how in the future with the MetaNet, are we still going to need companies like Xfinity or AT&T Uverse, for example, in the States, to log on to the MetaNet? Will there be a completely different protocol from
Do you mean
traditional
like Wi-Fi,
IP addresses?
internet?
Yes.
I think you'll still have to use the internet.
I think that
so
for
you would still have,
now, I think it can very much, basically some of these crazy ideas that I've been speaking to people about is that, the internet model as it is today potentially can change. I'm not sure if so many things can change. The way devices work will have to change, to be able to, I was speaking to someone the other day, and, imagine if our phone had like an air quality device, tracking device, and like a weather device on the phone itself to track the temperature in your environment, so that you can create data to see the air quality that you've been exposed to.
Oh, wow.
And as collecting that data as a whole to see how that affects your health, your well-being, and all that, like so many different things. So imagine if your device was able to track that information into an application on your phone that's already built in. Like that's kind of how it can go in the future. So all of these little things, the way that we have advancements right now with iPhones and Androids, whatever, the extra camera, they have like the health app on the iPhone, which has like, how many steps you take per day or whatever else. So imagine if we can create even more data points that you can also get paid for collecting, while also benefiting from your direct history and seeing how your own, trends kind of work, and what directly affects your health and your well-being, and what you can do to prevent and avoid those bad days, because you can see trends.
All right.
That is pretty interesting, dude. There's so much stuff to be done with this. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's almost limitless on the stuff that could be done on this. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's the
Well,
future.
they're inventing, I believe that they're moving themselves, the miners and Bitcoin, from the power of Bitcoin, and moving towards these terabyte blocks and like these massive amounts of memory cards and huge technology advances. I think will be incentivized by Bitcoin. Right? Yeah, that's
Gigamegs,
it.
yeah.
All incentivized by Bitcoin itself.
That's insane. And to be at this stage, I remember when I first heard about Bitcoin, I was like, wow, I wish I would have heard about this, when it first came out, and I could have made, billions, millions, whatever the case is.
This was your second chance.
Now this is, this is a second chance. And that's why every week I try to buy a little bit of BSV, whether it's $100, 200. I'm in it to use it, to spend it. And I think it's so amazing, all the stuff that's going with this, and it's moving so fast too.
Andres, you and I were talking one-on-one earlier. We were talking about how it's going to change everything when you'll have a watch that you can just fling money off of,
make it rain. Making it rain from the BSV watch,
right? This is the new move right here.
Now it's coming. I like
and like we were talking about earlier, and I've heard other people talk about it, that it's so true that even a credit card. I'm a bartender, so I deal with every single day. Even a credit card, believe it or not, they're not very sanitary. Everybody says, "Oh, money is dirty. Money is dirty." Can you think about a credit card?
They're gross, man. It's all gross.
Yeah, it really is. To be able, I think once these gatekeepers are not able to stop BSV from reaching the masses and from people understanding and how powerful it is and how it's really going to change. Like, for example, Coinbase. How is it possible that Coinbase has not listed BSV as a cryptocurrency?
There are ulterior reasons for that.
Again, and essentially that's a gatekeeper that they're keeping them out of.
What are those
they
reasons?
Can try.
What are those reasons?
Correct.
Obviously, they're afraid of everything BSV can do. But what's your take on that?
I think it's a difficult question. I don't know exactly factual why all of this is kind of happening, but definitely to try and censor Bitcoin itself. The whole reason why BTC is the way it is today is because, in my opinion, they did everything they could to destroy Bitcoin from the inside out. So to basically make it, imagine it like not replicating Bitcoin at all. To destroy it, to make it slow, fast, expensive, whatever, create this shitcoin scam community. Like, I think that all of this was very much created
coordinated
for the purpose of destroying Bitcoin and to stop it from happening, to stop the world from adopting it, to give it a bad name in the media, to make everyone think, oh no, Bitcoin's a scam, Bitcoin's this, it doesn't work, it's slow, it's expensive, whatever. And then, you know, to create that skepticism towards it, and, you know,
which is the complete opposite of the white paper.
Well, exactly. So by, you know, Coinbase, you know, one of the biggest exchanges, regulated exchanges, not listing it, it kind of adds to that effect that, oh, well, BTC is Bitcoin, and BTC obviously doesn't work, it's shit. So it creates this cycle, and, you know, the media also, you know, with the scam, Aussie man bad, whatever. BSV is a scam, kind of whatever else. It's just all of a ploy to stop Bitcoin from happening. Totally stop it from happening.
Satoshi, like the cool uncle? Was he like the cool uncle growing up?
I didn't see him very much. We lived in different states. The last time I saw him, I was a teenager. So it'll be good to see him again at this conference. But yeah, no, I haven't seen him in years, and he was always the uncle that kind of picked you up and turned you upside down, and you know.
So pretty cool uncle, pretty freaking cool uncle.
Oh no, that's
he was trying to shake the coins out of her.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
like Sonic. Ding, ding, ding. Wow, that's great.
River. We'll come up. We could talk to you all day where I'm at, all night where you guys are at. All morning.
The sun's coming up finally.
Thank you so much for your time. These guys have been up all night awaiting your presence. Thank you so much, River. You've gone beyond what the time that we thought you would. So thank you.
Yeah, wow.
I'm sorry to keep you here.
We really hope there's going to be many more.
We're good. I mean, I don't, you know, it's like, feel free to be rude with us. I guess.
Yeah.
To call us
we can
out.
take it.
Yeah, no, I feel like it's healthy to call people out, because that's how you build friendship. It's not by making each other feel good all the time, but saying, hey man, this is some things.
And speaking your mind as well.
Speaking your mind, you know, and that's one of the things I wanted to do on this show is basically everyone's in their own box. But if we as a group can be outside your box and see things from a different angle, and to help you see things from a different view. That's why we're here.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I can't say anything right now, but next time you come back, we'll have some good stuff for you.
And we hope you keep coming back, because that guarantees that Dookie will be around.
Yes.
That's the only way Dookie wanted to be a part of this.
I'll show up for that one.
Yeah, Dookie's been ignoring us like all week, but you show up and
I've been grinding.
Suddenly.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, River's coming?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here he comes.
He looked around.
Go hang out in the garage for that.
Yeah.
Freezing cold, no matter rain,
that
sleet,
one.
hail, or snow.
We'll freeze for that one.
He's there for River for sure.
Yeah, right in the garage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome, man. Guys, I'm gonna head out. I've got a busy schedule. I'm kidding. I'm totally joking.
Hey, you're gonna do some of the editing today. You're gonna make snippets.
You know, with this, that's why I wanted to ask her. Do you mind if we post any? Is there any part of this you don't want me to post?
No, go ahead. I don't mind at all.
Okay.
So
great.
we could put out
Amazing.
like one raw take, and then from there take some.
I would love that.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Normally we take when we upload this on Streamanity, we're gonna boost it for like the first 100 people. Get it out there. Let people enjoy it and see a side of River that they'll probably never thought that.
She's gonna be blown
maybe.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
You're welcome, River.
What are you talking about?
Next
We're
level.
going to be blowing up from this.
I know,
She's already
really.
blowing up.
I'm joking.
No
Oh
kidding.
yeah. We're gonna give River such a good rep through this.
Right.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Oh, you're going to be so popular after this.
More like they'll be like, wait.
Thank you so much, guys. That's all I ever dreamed of.
There you go.
It's what we're here for.
You're going to be like number 4 now for sure. For sure.
Yeah,
Number go up.
She's gonna get like
go up.
she's gonna get like 100 private messages on Twitter. Well, if she'll show up for these guys, she'll show up for anybody. My God, this
Yeah,
is
River's number is
look out,
definitely
man.
going to go up. Number go up.
Randy better watch it. She's coming for you.
Randy and
anybody's
Moisty.
anybody's watching out there, this is just our river guest. She doesn't show up for anybody. This is
Yeah.
Exclusive.
right.
You
Don't
can only
waste your
find her
time.
here on the box.
you can only get it here. Don't copy us. No, I was kidding.
That's right.
All right, guys.
Randy and Moisty.
All
That,
right,
I
guys.
think that's one of the highlights, though. Moisty, Elon
Yeah.
Moisty. I
Asking
love that.
questions
Dude.
about-
Wi-Fi and waffles.
Have to do like
Questions
some
coming out.
wet frog or something meme
We're gonna be
where he's
Yeah.
all
live
like, you know,
memes,
drenched.
live waffle
Absolutely.
memes. Let's just all talk
Oh,
at once
it's-
in a while.
Gotcha.
There's so many memes that we're gonna put out through this.
Looking forward to them, Dookie.
Oh yeah.
I got to get
Can't
right
wait
on
to see
this.
those
I might have to
memes.
skip work
Yeah.
today. And
Ooh.
Skipping work today, right?
Oh,
Ducky's
This is
gonna
a big
play.
now we're
hooky.
talking.
This is a big day. With your earnings, it'll equal out. All right, River.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Happy
Yeah,
Valentine's
thank
Day.
you guys.
Almost
You too.
forgot.
We love you. We love you. Thank you so much.
Yes.
I'm taking off. Thank you.
Hopefully
Thank you.
we see you all soon.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye.
You guys take care, guys. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you again, River. Seriously.
Thank you guys. Thank you
best.
for having me.
Give us one last word, River. What's your from all the
Drop it.
wisdom you've pulled from your 28 years on this spinning planet?
Mm.
Tell us one sentence or two sentences of your wisdom. What would you recommend to the youth that are keeping them
My
happy and
goodness,
inspired?
My goodness, what do I say? This is really, really, really like unexpected and.
We told you he was going to put you on the spot.
Gosh, I need to prepare for these guys. No, I'm kidding.
You need a teleprompter?
Unscripted, everybody.
Uh-huh.
Totally unscripted.
Just be you and trust your instincts. That's what I would say.
Go with your gut. I like that.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Give it
Very
up for
nice.
River, man.
End it
I
with that.
say we give her a round
Thank
of
you,
applause.
guys.
Standing ovation.
Take care of yourself.
River, you're the
Yep.
best.
You
Till
too,
next
guys.
time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Later.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Peace.